They say silence is empty. But what if I told you, silence is where the greatest ideas are born? While the world screams for attention, successful people listen. They don't chase noise, they master silence. Because in silence, you don't just hear the world. You finally hear yourself. The truth is, most people are terrified of silence. They fill every second of their day with noise, scrolling, talking, watching, reacting. The moment things get quiet, they panic. Because silence forces you to face your own thoughts, your own fears, your own truth. But that's exactly where power begins, in stillness. Silence isn't weakness. It's control. It's awareness. It's strength disguised as calm. The most successful people on the planet, the visionaries, the warriors, the innovators, they've mastered the art of silence. Because silence gives you clarity in a world drowning in chaos. You see, in silence, the mind resets. It filters out distractions. It sharpens focus. It connects the dots others can't see because they're too busy reacting to the noise. Successful people think differently because they pause before they speak. They observe before they act. They listen before they decide. Silence is not the absence of thought. It's the amplification of it. It's where decisions are born, where strategies are formed, where breakthroughs happen. But for most people, silence feels uncomfortable. Because in silence, the lies they tell themselves become clear. The excuses they repeat start to sound empty. And the truth, the real truth, becomes too loud to ignore. That's why the average person runs from silence. They drown it with music, conversations, distractions, anything that keeps them from sitting alone with their thoughts. But successful people? They run toward it. Because they know silence is the gym of the mind. It's where you train focus, discipline, and vision. The ones who master silence master themselves. And the ones who master themselves eventually master the world. So the question is, when was the last time you allowed yourself to be truly silent? No phone. No noise. No scrolling. Just stillness. If that question makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. But maybe that's where your power begins. Let's go deeper. When successful people talk about mindset, most think it's about motivation, affirmations, or positivity. But in reality, it's about awareness. And awareness only grows in silence. When your mind is noisy, filled with opinions, fears, and distractions, you can't hear your intuition. You can't access the deeper wisdom that guides the truly great. But when you quiet the noise, that's when you begin to think differently. Look at the world's most successful people, the leaders, thinkers, and creators who changed everything. Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, all of them share a trait people rarely talk about. They value silence. They think deeply. They don't rush decisions. They take time to reflect. Because silence builds perspective. When everyone else reacts to the world, they observe it. When everyone else speaks, they listen. And when everyone else doubts, they visualize. In silence, your mind becomes a weapon. It sharpens your thinking. It helps you see opportunities others overlook. Most people spend their days reacting. Successful people spend theirs creating. And creation can only happen when your mind is calm enough to imagine. But silence isn't just about thinking, it's about discipline. It's about emotional control. It's about mastering the voice inside that says, you can't. Because silence is where you learn to talk back to that voice and say, watch me. You see, silence gives birth to self-trust. When you can sit alone with your thoughts and not feel lost, you become unstoppable. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop trying to impress. In silence, you realize that external noise, opinions, gossip, trends, they don't matter. The only voice that matters is your own. And once you strengthen that inner voice, you stop being controlled by the world. That's what successful people understand. They protect their silence like treasure. They start their mornings in stillness. No phone, no distraction, because they know their first thoughts shape their entire day. They plan in silence. They execute in silence. They win in silence. They don't announce their every move. They don't explain their dreams. They just work. Quietly. Consistently. Relentlessly. And that's what confuses people. Because when the results finally appear, the world calls it luck. But it wasn't luck. It was silence. It was discipline. It was focus. So, if you ever feel lost, if you ever feel like life is too loud, step back. Disconnect. Find your silence. Because the more still your mind becomes, the clearer your vision gets. Silence doesn't make you passive. It makes you precise. And precision, that's what builds empires. Here's the truth most people never hear. Silence is not about escaping the world. It's about understanding it. When you master silence, you start to see things others can't. You begin to read people, sense energy, notice patterns. You become more aware, more intentional, more powerful. But this power requires patience. You must train your mind to be still even when chaos surrounds you. You must resist the urge to react to every emotion, every opinion, every setback. Because silence teaches you emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence builds resilience. When life gets hard, the average person complains. The successful person reflects. When others panic, they breathe. When others quit, they wait. They understand that silence is not doing nothing, it's preparing. Every great leader, every great warrior, every great mind has used silence as their foundation. Because silence is where strategies form, where strength regenerates, where clarity returns. The world wants you distracted. The system wants you loud, reactive, and lost in noise. But you can't create wealth or peace in that state. The quiet mind wins, because it's the only one capable of deep thought and consistent action. That's why successful people are calm even in chaos. They've trained their minds to stay silent on the inside, even when the world is loud on the outside. They think differently because they listen differently. You want success? Then learn to master silence. Sit with yourself. Reflect. Listen. Because the answers you're looking for aren't out there, they're within you. Silence will show you who you truly are. It will expose your fears, your dreams, your purpose. It will strip away the fake confidence and force you to build real strength. And one day, when the noise of the world fades away, you'll realize something powerful. You never needed the world's validation. You only needed your own clarity. So take this moment. Turn off the distractions, sit in silence, and listen to your thoughts. Not to judge them, but to understand them. Because understanding yourself is the highest form of success. The power of silence isn't in what it hides, it's in what it reveals. And the day you embrace it, is the day you'll begin to think like the successful do. Because in the end, success doesn't shout. It whispers, in silence.